Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to pull a lampshade together. Now what I'm making here is a simple little shade that I designed to put on a small jar candle. And we start by laying out our pieces. This is a simple 6-sided shade. I have them laying out with about 1/8 of an inch gap, and I'm going to scotch tape them together. And this will allow me, I gotta find the start and stop of my tape. There it is. By taping them together, I will be able to pull it up into its shape and then tack solder it. This is some inexpensive masking tape. You don't need anything really good. It is not going to stay on the glass long, just long enough to hold it together while we tack solder it. And you can do it this way for larger paneled shades as well. And that one shifted a little bit. Let me get it fixed. All right. You would just need more pieces of tape. If you had larger shades, you would use more pieces of tape. All right. Some on our end. Now in the center, I'm going to pull it up. And tape it. All right. It is not the perfect shape, but it's holding our sides together. All right. For lampshades, I like to use 50/50 solder. It sets up quicker and it's a little bit stronger. All right, I need some more flux in my cap. I just put flux in the cap as I need it and keep the bottle away from me so I don't accidentally spill it. All right, I'm going to flux where the pieces come together on the top. Try to get it in its shape that I need. I already have my iron warmed up. Pull a little bit of solder and get it tacked on the top. All right, we've got the top tack soldered. I'll flip it over and we'll do the same to the bottom. I forgot to turn my fan on. Let me go turn my fan on. All right. Tack solder the bottom where the pieces meet. Pull them together a little bit better. I hope you can see what I'm doing. tack it, hold it while the solder sets, and go around the bottom doing the same thing. Pull it together. I don't know why I'm refluxing. I fluxed all that already. Hold it while the solder sets. That one's a little tough. Let's come back to that. Let's go to this other piece. All right, the last one. Pull that together. Being a little difficult. I'm going to put a little flux there. Hold it still. And hold that while the solder sets. All right. We still have a little play in it. We can adjust our shape a little. All right. Now I'm going to come in. I'm not going to show you the entire inside while we're soldering, but I'm going to show you a couple pieces where they come and meet. We're going to tin the copper foil, and we're going to do the inside seams. I'm going to go ahead and tin the top and the bottom. And I hope you can see that okay. I'm going to go in and fill that back seam. And again, I'm using 50-50. You want a nice bead, even though it's the inside and it won't get seen. You still want to do nice work on the inside. All right. Now we're on to the next piece. Extend my solder a little bit. I'm going to go in and do the top inside on the foil and tin that. Now, let's fill in the back of that seam. I'm just doing a quick fill. And I like using 50-50 for things like this because it does set up quicker. And that'll come in handy when we do the outside seam. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish the inside, and I'll be back. I've got the inside done. Now we're going to go to the outside, take that tape off. Lampshade's warm. Now we're going to work on the outside. I'll show you how to do a couple of the seams. We do, again, similar to what we did the inside, we're going to tin the top and the bottom, and we're going to work on our seams. Tin the top, tin the bottom, and I think I fluxed that already. Let's do it again. I'm going to do tin two sides, and then we'll do the seam in between. I'm going to tin the side of those. And it's pretty well filled in from when we were working on the inside of the shade. Going to fill in some of the bigger gaps, and then we'll go in and bead it nice. Need to hold it as level as you can. And again, I like using 50-50 because it sets up quicker. It cools quicker. Less likely to drip through. If we were using 60-40, it stays molten longer, and we might get some drip through, and we'll have to go over and over the seams. And there you have it, a nice seam. I'll do one more. Tin the top and the bottom. And then the sides of the seam. Get some extra solder in those bigger gaps, allowing it, it's dripping through. All right, not too bad. So we'll have to double check the inside when we think we're all done. Take care of any drips. Let that cool for a second. Extend my solder some more. Now let's clean up the bead. A little more solder on my iron. We've got enough solder on our seam. We're just warming it and a drip through. All right, you sucker. All right, let's let it cool for a second. Part of the problem, well, bigger gap, and also it's maybe hot, too hot in that spot, so it wants to drip through. Let's work on another spot of this seam. Warm it up, smooth it out a little bit nicer. All right, see if we can get that done without dripping through again. And it's dripping through again. All right, I'm going to leave it on the inside. Let's see if we can't get this side done, or this seam done. I'm glad I'm having some issues. That way you can see we all have issues from time to time with our solder not behaving. All right, that looks nicer. I'm going to pause and I'm going to finish the outside. I've got the outside seams done. Now we want to bead the top and bead the bottom. Make it look nice. And we have to find the angle where it would be level. And come in and bead it and make it look nice. And in some spots there's already enough solder, we just need to warm it up. Some spots we need to add a little. Solder's not behaving the way I like it, so I'll add a little bit more flux. Lampshade's getting hot. We'll finish beading the top, and then I'll let it cool before we do the bottom. It's still not behaving. Flux might be evaporating from the heat. Try that again. That's better. All right. Last one. All right, I'll pause, let it cool a bit, and then we'll bead the very bottom edge. The shade is cooled down, so now let's bead the bottom edge. And I see drips on the inside. I'll have to touch those up too. Again, hold it so the edge is level, and give it a nice bead. And my solder's not cooperating. Let's give it more flux. All right, it wants to be finicky. I'm going to go to another side. Always something. And that side I just soldered on is hot. I'll just keep giving it some extra flux. Let me turn this in a way the piece is cooler the direction I go. If you feel more comfortable wearing gloves, please do so. I've been working with glass for over 40 years, and there just weren't as much safety equipment, I guess, back then. If a piece got too hot that I was working on and it got too hot to hold, sometimes I would grab a rag or a washcloth and hold the piece that way. But too, it's also better if it's too hot to handle with your bare hands, set it down and let it cool. When the glass gets too hot and then cools down too quickly, you risk it cracking. So if the glass is getting too hot to handle, that's telling you give it a break and let it cool down. I can probably keep touching this up on every side. This is a little bit too much solder. Remove that. Now fix what we did. See if I need to touch up anything. I don't like the looks of that wrinkle. So let's smooth that out a little bit. Let's add a little more right there. All right, I'm going to go inside and fix any drip throughs. Hopefully we don't drip through to the outside now and have to fix that. I'm just going to warm up those drip throughs and fix that bead. Fix that one a little bit. Oh, got quite a bit there. Trying to move quick so it doesn't get a chance to drip through to the outside. All right. Now, because this is going to be a candle shade, I put some wire on the inside, like from here to here and here to here. So when it sits on the candle, it's more sturdy. I don't want, we could put this on top of a jar right now, but it'd be more likely to slip off if we give it some wire rotting, so it will come down on the candle cup. Let me grab a candle cup. Oops, sorry. This is the candle size I designed these little shades for. And let me measure it for you. Show you. This is a little more than 2.5 inches in diameter. If we just have it like this, you see how far that goes down, and it's likely to slip, and we don't want it slipping, especially when the candle's lit. I want it to only go down, maybe an inch past the very rim of the candle. So it sits higher on the jar. And we do that by putting some wire, and let me find, I think I have enough here. I'm going to be patining this copper, so I want to use copper wire. And I've twisted already, this is 2 pieces of copper wire that I've twisted together. And I want to come down just about 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to cut this longer than what I need for right now. And that's sitting a little bit too high, so let's take off just a little bit more. All right, that's more of where I want it to sit. And now we need to go inside to tack this. This is always fun. This is sometimes where you need a third hand. Let me position this so hopefully you can see it well enough. I'll let one side lay flat and try and find the spot where it is level, so it's in the same distance on each seam. All right, I'm going to flux those spots where they meet the seams. We'll get one edge tacked on. And remember, metal conducts heat. That heat is going to transfer on your wire. Now I can feel the warmth of it. It's traveled to the center of it there. Now, I already fluxed there on the other end. Let's get that. Put some solder on it. There we go. Fix up our bead that we messed up. And there's one tacked in. Now we got to do that to the other side. And I'll take my wire again, cut it a little bit longer, and we can always cut some more off. Don't cut it too short. And that's definitely too long. Take a little bit more off. See how we did. Still a little bit too long. It doesn't go as far in as I want to. A little bit more off. All right, that's better. Let's tip it down here. Get my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing over here. All right, that's where I want it. Flux it. Get a little bit of solder. Tack that on there. Now come over to the other side. Flux it. And get a dot of solder. Need some more on the back of that there. Come on, there we go. And that's, I'm trying to smooth it up. There we go. That's all it takes. Now we have the support of the shade so it can sit on the rim of the candle, and if it gets bumped while it's lit, the shade will not fall off. And it sits a little higher on the jar. And that's it. I will clean that up and patina it, and I'll show you the finished result. And there it is, all done and patinaed. I hope you liked watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll try and guide you through all my different projects. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.